mic check 1 2 1 2. Hey, mic check 1 2. Hello. Hold on a second. I'm fucking up again. Yeah, Grand Theft. There was a Detractor Media stream. Let me know if you can hear me. There is a Detractor Media stream that I just finished. We talked about a lot of things. It was pretty interesting. Honestly. Let me get my camera working. My camera's being a little bitch. Oh no, wait. Yeah. Property. My camera not working. Hear me loud and clear. Hell yeah, fuck you. Okay. What's not that one? My camera not working. Dude, what's going on here, dude? Whoa. There we go. Okay. That's better. Okay, so you see why. Camera not working. Okay, so what? No, there we go. I put it in a weird place. Let me move the camera. Let me. Oh, the whole screen is naked. So I'm gonna go back and watch a couple of my videos from back in the day, and just rewatch them together. Let's see. So I don't have Streamlabs set up. Oh, let me get. Oh, I don't have your chat. Hold up. Oh, get your chat pulled. I'm multiplying. Yeah. Yeah, this is my kind of a impromptu random thing. I just decided to do this. But yeah, so we had just finished. I just finished doing a Detractor Media stream. There's a camera. I just finished doing a Detractor Media stream where I talked about DSP. We talked about some locales. Pretty interesting stuff. Went down the rabbit hole of a lot of different locales. So I've been wanting to do a stream where I just kind of went back over my old videos and pretty much the same thing that I did with Detractor Media, where it was like an after hours thing. So go back and rewatch my old stuff and give commentary, behind the scenes, behind the scenes commentary about like what I was thinking, the editing process, all that kind of stuff. Because I find it really interesting to go back and watch these videos from forever ago. Well, let's do Lost Media. It keeps pausing the videos while I open them. Okay.
He's an illiterate janitor whose mother tried to abort him.
Warning. The content you're about to see is rated 18+. Viewer discretion advised. Lost media is an umbrella term describing examples of media that are non-existent, missing, or unavailable to the general public.
I remember
the term primarily.
So one thing about this, I remember when I did this intro, and I figured out how to put the televisions and stuff in the background underneath the video of the Blue Blazer, the Columbine stuff, Steve Irwin. When I figured out how to put the actual televisions underneath it, I remember thinking like, that was the coolest shit I'd ever done in my life. You know, I thought that was the coolest shit I'd ever done. When I figured out how to layer images in my video editing, I thought that was awesome. That lie, but I can't restream watch it on PS4. Yeah, you need a PC to do it, but you don't need. If you're just doing like restreaming, you don't need a super like strong computer to do it. If you're just restreaming, like watching your old, because I've wanted to watch my old live streams back. I thought that'd be fun too. Because there's so many live streams, and a lot of them I don't remember. Because you know, there's just so many of them, and a lot of them were late at night. I'd stream till early hours of the morning. So it would be cool to go back and watch a lot of those live streams now and give commentary. But the thing is, a lot of those live streams are 5 hours long, 6, 7 hours long. I don't want to sit here through 7 hours of my boring ass content. You know what I mean? I'd rather do videos where it's 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I'd rather do, you know, stuff like that where you can. I'm not just watching a bunch of dead air while I'm live streaming. But yeah, you need a PS or you need a computer to do that, and you don't need one that's necessarily strong or crazy. You just need one with a decent graphics card.
Missing or unavailable to the general public. The term primarily encompasses visual, audio, or audiovisual media such as films, television and radio broadcast, music and video games. This week we're talking about 5 pieces of media lost to time.
And when I tell you I tried so hard to stick to a consistent schedule, I mean I tried so hard to stick to posting once a week, you know, posting with some sort of consistency, but the videos took so long to edit, and then I had to do research for it. I work a full-time job, so it was hard to work a full-time job and then come home and research topics, to research topics for a new video for an illiterate janitor. And then you have to shoot it, you have to edit it, you have to post it. And doing that once a week was just, it was too much for me personally. So for those people that post content on a weekly basis, you know, on a consistent basis every Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, like my hat's off to you, man. That shit's tough. That shit's tough posting all the time on a consistent basis. But I really wanted to do this more often. Like I really wanted to do this true crime stuff more often. But it just took a lot to find stuff that was interesting. And I think I lost interest in true crime after a while. I think it eventually just kind of got stale, you know, and I wanted to do more pop culture stuff, but I was afraid of veering away from true crime because, I mean, a lot of y'all initially joined because I was a live streamer, right? A lot of y'all initially joined because I was live streaming. You know, I was playing video games and stuff. But once I started to post these videos, my channel started to get the analytics back. It started to do pretty good. And I didn't want to veer off of true crime because that's the videos that I had posted before. They were all true crime. Right? And you don't want to veer off from too far from that content. You know, you don't want to post true crime today and then post a video tomorrow talking about, you know, video games or something that's completely irrelevant because people probably aren't gonna watch it. So it was just tough to maintain, and I think I burned myself out with the true crime gimmick. And ever since then, I've been trying to find something new to do with this channel. But like I said in that update video, this channel is never dead. This channel is never dead. It's always in the back of my mind. I just don't know what to do with this channel because as far as doing pop culture and true crime, we're already doing that with A Bad Dream. So, side note, if y'all don't know, I have another channel called A Bad Dream. It is pop culture true crime. It's like old school Planet Dolan. So I'll link it, and I'll post the link in the chat in just a minute. But we're already doing that with A Bad Dream. So I didn't want to do true crime and pop culture with A Bad Dream and then do it here with An Illiterate Janitor. It just seemed redundant, you know? Do it on one place, it just makes more sense. But if I did it on one place, which would be A Bad Dream, then what the fuck do I do with this channel? You know what I mean? Kind of how I feel now. Grand Theft says, kind of how I feel now. Feels like a struggle to do everything on your own and with only so much time you can pull out of the day. Yeah, especially working a full-time job and doing this. Like, YouTube isn't something that I'm super serious about. You know, YouTube is not something, there's a light. There's a light that's blowing out my camera. There it is, right there. Yeah, right there. There's a couple of lights. Oh, it's right here. Oh, it's this. Yeah, there's a couple of lights that are completely blowing out the exposure of my camera. But yeah, I'm not super serious about YouTube, right? So I do this just when I get the notion to. I gave up on the idea of being a big YouTuber a long time ago because it takes a level of dedication that I can't really give to YouTube. I've got, you know, my voice is cracking constantly because I've got a full-time job. I'm a writer. I'm a voice actor. I work in film and television. I don't really have time to dedicate to basically a third job, you know, so I'll just post when I'm in the mood for it. And I hate that happened because now, I mean, my analytics are dead. I'm live streaming to 1-2 people where it used to be like 15, 20, I don't know, something like that. But, you know, that's the price you pay for not posting consistently. It just is what it is. And I'll let this channel take up too much of my personality. Like, my whole life was contingent on how good is my channel doing. Who the fuck cares? Post when you want to. Post shit for fun. Fuck this shit. Who cares? Anyways.
Hello. Before we get started, I just want to say we hit 100 followers on TikTok and growing. It's a little bit more.
The video is Is it normally like that? The video is way behind. Like, the actual video and the audio aren't synced. Of course, this is like when I first started editing. So I didn't know anything about editing. I didn't know how all this stuff worked. I was a lot skinnier in that video. But yeah, the video and the audio aren't synced. That really bugs me, but like I said, that was one of the first things that I ever really edited on like a professional level or whatever. So the editing is going to suck because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Okay. Grand Theft says, I just do it for fun, but now that I edit too, it's a struggle. Motivation dips and it feels like a chore than a choice. Then you feel bad for falling into old patterns. Yeah. And I did the same thing with that update video a couple of months ago. I told myself I was going to post that update video and then I was going to start posting on this channel again. And I fell into that old pattern of like, well, if you post, what the fuck are you going to post? I have no idea. And I just started overthinking it. And so I just didn't post. So yeah, it's really easy to fall into those patterns. So with Detractor Media, I don't really have to think about it. Because Detractor Media is a lolcow channel. Right? So I can just search up DSP or, you know, Boogie, Cyrax, whatever. I can just watch one of their videos and give commentary and then boom, there you go. There's your content. But with this, because I don't have a certain thing that I'm doing, I don't have a certain thing that I do with this channel, I don't know what the fuck to live stream. I don't know what the fuck to cover as far as just videos. You know, you don't know the direction when you don't know the genre or the content. It just is what it is. But yeah, I completely agree. Do it for fun. If it goes somewhere, cool. If it doesn't, cool. Who gives a fuck?
More than that now. 665 followers or subscribers on YouTube. 30K views on the channel and growing. This was as like 2 weeks ago. I haven't posted in like a month. I have a few scripts that I'm working on. My voice cracked. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I have a few scripts that I'm working on. I just haven't finished yet.
I'm gonna kill the. I think the camera kind of kills the vibe. I'm just gonna kill the camera. We just vibed out. Oh shit! What happened?
A few interesting topics that I think y'all will really like. I just wanted to say thank you because we're doing pretty well, and I was nervous about posting on this channel because I know I built a small audience of people who were used to me streaming, and I didn't think a lot of y'all would come back to watch me do more serious content. A lot of y'all didn't, and that's fine. You know, where life gets in the way of living, things change. But I'm surprised at the response that I got, and I just want to say thank you guys. 100 followers on TikTok, that's pretty cool. Almost 1,000 on Snapchat. 665.
Yeah, so that little almost 1,000 on Snapchat, I got that idea from LA Beast. If you don't know who LA Beast is, he's a food YouTuber. He's a competitive eater. He does stuff like that where during the recording, if he forgets to say something, he'll just do a voiceover, and it's like that. It's just him going like, it's just, you know, him doing that silly voice. So I took that directly from the LA Beast. So big ups LA Beast.
We're on our way to 1,000 on YouTube. And that's pretty wild. So this is the biggest my channel has ever been, even back when I was streaming. So it feels cool to watch my channel grow again, to watch my analytics go back up again from being dead for 4 years. So yeah, I just want to say thank you. Let's get into it. And that's pretty wild. Owen Hart, King of the Ring, 1999. So you probably heard this one if you grew up in the 90s. If you're a millennial like me, you probably remember hearing this story a lot. So Owen Hart was a member of the Hart Foundation. Him, his older brother, Hitman Bret Hart, their brother-in-law, British Bulldog, they're all, you know, wrestling troupe or whatever. Owen was a younger brother. He had a superhero alias called the Blue Blazer, which was still a professional wrestler with the full superhero garb and the mask and everything. But he was kind of goofy, you know, he was clumsy, wasn't very good at what he did, and that was his whole gimmick. So yeah, just to give you a little bit of backstory as to who Owen Hart was, in case you've never heard of him, but like I said, you've probably heard this before. This one was pretty famous. So most of these, I think, are all pretty well known. Yeah, these are all pretty well known pieces of lost media for anyone my age and younger. You've heard of most of these. There's ones you may not have heard of, maybe two.
Yeah, so I wanted to do more well-known ones just to establish the concept. You know what I mean? To establish the concept of doing more well-known lost media, and then I was going to start delving into ones that were harder to find. I was going to start diving into ones that were not as popular, not as well-known. So that was the point of this. That's why I started off doing the ones that everybody knows. Timothy Treadwell and Owen Hart and all that kind of stuff. Anyways,
You haven't heard of. Anyways, so let's get into it again. Guess I keep getting sidetracked. Stop doing hand gestures. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, and I was really weird about, like, I was really nervous about, like, putting that in. Because, like I said, this was the first time that I really edited a video, like thoroughly edited a video in a professional sense, and I didn't know if that would fit to just do, like, you know, to keep in the part where I do the little finger pistols, and I'm like, don't do that. But it fit my personality so well. It was goofy and it was me fucking up, so I kept it in just for funsies. So
it's going terribly. Owen Hart was a Canadian professional wrestler who rose to prominence in the mid-1990s in the World Wrestling Federation. At the time under...
Also, he did not rise to prominence in the mid-1990s. The Blue Blazer was the late 1990s, so Owen Hart died at King of the Ring, if I'm not mistaken, in the summer of 1999. He died right around Columbine. So and he had only been doing the Blue Blazer gimmick for a year, maybe. He hadn't been doing the Blue Blazer gimmick for very long. And I think the point, Justin, back the mic up. I think the point of the Blue Blazer was that, okay, so I think the point of the Blue Blazer was a year, maybe 2 years before, Owen Hart was in a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he was supposed to, I can't think what the move is. He was supposed to do a drop. It's like a pile driver. It's not a. It's kind of like a pile driver. I can't remember what it's called. But he was supposed to do something like a pile driver. And he was supposed to drop Austin to the mat. And I think he was supposed to pin him. And then boom, ding, ding, ding. 3 bells. We go, we're done. And so when Owen told Stone Cold, hey, the way that we're going to end this match is I'm going to do a, whatever the fuck it's called. I can't remember what it's called. I just said it. I was going to do what did I say? Oh my God, I just said it. Not Tombstone. Tombstone was Undertaker. Pile driver. Yeah, he was going to do a pile driver type thing. So Owen Hart told Stone Cold, that's how we're going to finish the match. We're going to do a pile driver. I drop you on your head. You're fucked. I pin you. We're done. Right. We go home. And so go home is a term in wrestling. That means we're done. The match is over with. So he told Stone Cold that, and Stone Cold said, I don't think that's a good idea. If you're going to do it, he said, you need to, the top of my head needs to be at like the top of your thighs. When I go down, my head is supposed to be at like the top of your thighs. So there's no chance of my actual head hitting the mat, and it puts pressure on my neck. He said, I don't think that's a good idea. And Owen said, no, I've got it. And so he ended up, they did the match. They sold the pile driver, whatever it was. And Owen fucked it up like Stone Cold knew he would. And it damn near crippled Stone Cold. It fucked up his spinal cord. He couldn't walk he was out of commission for almost a year. And so I think that had a lot to do with the Blue Blazer gimmick, because Owen Hart didn't turn heel. He was genuinely hated as a wrestler because he fucked up. Because he almost ended the career of one of the most prolific wrestlers of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Big up Stone Cold. And so I think the Blue Blazer was like, and I may be wrong. This is just like what I gathered from it. The Blue Blazer thing, I think, was a gimmick that he started to embrace the fact that he was a fuck up. To embrace the fact that he almost crippled Stone Cold. Sorry, Grand Theft. Grand Theft says, I know a few pieces of Lost to Disturbing Media, but some of them might be too much for the channels. Which ones are you referring to? I know a lot of like Lost Media and Disturbing Media. So which ones are you referring to specifically, Grand Theft? But yeah, so I think Blue Blazer was him embracing, that incident where he fucked up and almost crippled Stone Cold Steve Austin, and just getting ahead of the meme, getting ahead of the joke. So yeah, that was the late 1990s, because like I said, he died, I believe, the summer of 1999 is when Owen Hart fell from the rafters. He fell about. I say it in this video. He fell the equivalent of like a couple of stories from the rafters to the mat, and he hit the mat, and unfortunately, Owen Hart passed. And so, yeah, that was the summer of 99. It was like right before Columbine. And so it was 99. He'd been doing the Blue Blazer gimmick for maybe a year. So I was wrong. I said the mid 90s. It was actually closer to the late 1990s. I'll shut the fuck up. Okay, thanks.
There's alter ego, the Blue Blazer. Costumed as his alter ego, Hart was set to descend from the rafters at the 1999 Over the Edge pay-per-view event in Kansas City, Missouri. During the stunt, Owen's suspension cable malfunctioned, plummeting him 8 stories from the top of Kemper Arena to the mat in front of a live audience. So the pictures that remain online are, there's one picture of Owen, he's laying on the mat, the paramedics are around him. You can't really see anything. I think you just kind of see the side of his face. I don't know if I can show that on YouTube. Probably. I'll put it on screen here if I can find that image. If not, I'll just cut this out. But
yeah, you cannot show that on YouTube. WWF, WWE, whatever, is really peculiar about using their stuff, using their IPs, their intellectual properties. So if I would have showed that, I'm glad that I didn't, because if I would have showed that, WWE, I gotta pee, WWE would have flagged my video, and it would have got, not demonetized, because I never got to the point of being monetized, but it would have shadow banned my video. But yeah, so it was 8 stories. He fell 8 stories to the mat in Kemper Arena. He fell 8 stories from the rafters to the mat in Kemper Arena. Kemper Arena. I can't fucking speak. He fell from the rafters to the mat in Kemper Arena in front of a live audience. And my voice cracks really hard. Great, of course it does. Yeah, great. 8 stories. Anyways, okay. Some bad things. Let's just say some of the sites I've come across have had some very disturbing, uncensored stuff. Yeah, like, I mean, what is it, though? I probably know what you're talking about.
should be okay because there's no blood or gore, but you know how YouTube is. It's really stupid. The following Monday, the WWF presented a special edition of Raw is War titled Raw is Owen as a tribute to the fallen superstar. The event has since been released on modern digital format through WWF.com with no mention of Owen Hart's final moments. Owen's wife established the Owen Hart Foundation in December of 2000 in his memory. I'll put a link to the Owen Hart Foundation in the comments if you'd like to check out the article or the webpage, the fund that's to Owen and to his memory. So this one I remember, I was alive for it, but I wasn't watching. I was pretty young. But I do remember hearing about it at school, like immediately after this happened. I remember everybody was like, oh my God, I didn't really know who he was at the time. I'm a huge fan of WWF. If you know me, you sure as hell know I'm a huge fan of the World Wrestling Federation. But I don't have any recollection of watching it. I know for a fact it was pay-per-view, and I didn't watch pay-per-views at the time because I was too young. Damn, I didn't think I was going to get emotional about that.
Yeah, I remember while I was recording that, I got really emotional. Straight gore in some cases, like JFK. Oh yeah, I've watched the videos. I watched the videos of JFK getting, and there's the Zapruder films, which are in really low qualities. You can't see much, but yeah, I have a speech impediment, so y'all work with me. The Zapruder films are the films where they show JFK being assassinated on the grassy knoll in Dallas, Texas. So yeah, I've seen all that, the babushka lady, all that stuff. I've seen all those videos. And yeah, I thought you were talking about like some crazier shit. There's some crazy shit on the internet, Grand Theft. There's some crazy shit. I'm sure you're aware. There's some crazy shit on the internet. So, some stuff, actually most stuff, you probably don't want to see. Because, it's bad. But, yeah. I remember recording this, and I remember getting to this part where I talked about Raw as Owen and the Monday Night Raw after Owen fell and passed. And I wanted to show the video because there is a video of Raw is Owen, of that Monday Night Raw following over the raft, over the edge. There is a video of the Monday Night Raw that follows Over the Edge, which was the pay-per-view at Kemper Arena where Owen passed. And so I wanted to show it, but I remembered hearing that the WWE is really weird about you using their intellectual properties. I don't know why they are, but I've always heard that if you use WWE's a video of them, because I think actually hold on, I think this video got flagged because I used a fucking screenshot, like a 2-second screenshot. I think this video got flagged. Hold on. Let me see. I can't show y'all on stream. Y'all can have this. I'll give you all that. You can look at my handsome face with my weird haircut. Shit! I didn't show y'all. I need to rename the video. We just put it on that. So hold on, y'all. Hold on. It's media. Okay, yeah. Okay, so maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't. I thought that this video got copyrighted or got some sort of flag because I used an image from the World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment, whatever it's called now. But I know that the WWE is really weird about using their intellectual property in any capacity. So there's a video that shows, like I said, Raw's Owen, which happened on the following Monday Night Raw after Owen fell. And it's all the guys. I think I actually say this in just a second. And all the wrestlers are out on the ramp, and they're playing a tribute on the Titantron to Owen. And I do say this in just a second in the actual video, but they're doing a farewell, like a tribute to Owen Hart on the Titantron, and all the wrestlers are out on the ramp in their arena, and you see Paul White. I mean, you see The Rock, you see Taker and Kane, everybody. And then at the end, Stone Cold walks to the ring, and he takes 2 beers and slams them together, and he salutes Owen Hart. And I was going to show the video, but I figured that WWE was going to flag the video because I used some of their intellectual property. Anyways, Grand Theft Master says, I think you're completely fine talking about that stuff, but YT won't like it if you actually show footage. Seems kind of weird, but it makes sense. Yeah, so you can talk about basically whatever you want to, as long as you're not saying slurs. But if you show the video, it's different because it's more incriminating. Because it's definitely, a video of something bad happening. Their rules are really weird. I've never understood, as long as I've been on this platform, I've never really understood the rules that YouTube has and that they put in place. But what do I know? I'm just some dumb Cajun guy that makes shitty content every now and again. What do I know? Anyways.
I remember.
Yeah, I think what I was saying was I was debating on whether or not I wanted to cut this out because I didn't want to get emotional on camera. It felt weird to do that, especially with this being like my second video that I posted in this new true crime gimmick that I was doing on the channel. I didn't want people to see it and be like, "Oh, why is he getting emotional? That's weird." But I'm glad that I kept it in because this does mean a lot to me. Because when Owen Hart, I wasn't watching Over the Edge when Owen Hart unfortunately passed. I wasn't there for it. My parents wouldn't allow me to have to watch pay-per-view stuff because they had to pay for it. And so I wasn't there live. But so this is 1999. So I was I was 10. I was born in 89, so I was about 10 years old when Owen Hart died. Depending on what time of the year it was, I was about 10 years old. And so wrestling was everything, like wrestling was the coolest shit. That was the coolest shit in the world, man. You couldn't wait for Monday Night Raw. So I'm glad that I kept it in because wrestling was really fucking important to me when I was a kid. Grand Theft Master says, can't blame me for it though. It ain't easy talking about the passing of someone. Yeah. If you gotta let it out, you gotta let it out. Yeah, big ups, yeah. Big ups, yeah. So, yeah, it was just weird. Like, the first or second video that I posted in this new journey that I was going on in this channel, I didn't really want to get emotional. It just felt weird. I'd never really been emotional on camera before. Even as an actor, I'd never really been emotional on camera. Not like crying emotional. So yeah, it was just kind of weird for me. But I was like, my thought process was, first of all, fuck them. Just post it if you want to post it. If they don't like it, if somebody says like, oh, that's weird that you were emotional on camera, fuck them. Who cares? So, like I said, wrestling was the coolest shit when I was a kid. And, I don't know. This whole moment when Owen Hart died, I remember that being a big fucking thing. I was in like the third grade? I think I was in like the third grade. And I remember this being like the biggest shit in the world. Being like, oh my God, Owen Hart died. Anyways.
The Monday Night Raw after, that was called Raw as Owen.
Mm-hmm.
When all the superstars came out, excuse me, all the superstars came down the ramp and they played his music and did this tribute to him on the Titantron. And I remember watching that, and it was really touching. On the ramp during the taping was all the WWF superstars, and the camera was just panning across, and you saw Paul White, you saw Stone Cold, you saw the
That's just like the same people I said. That's like the same people I just fucking said. Paul White. I didn't say Stone Cold. Yeah, on the ramp. Let's see if I can find a picture. Like on the ramp was like, I mean, fuck, it was like Taker and Kane, fucking Scotty 2 Hotty and fucking Mankind, Stone Cold, The Rock. So let's see if I can find a picture of Raw is Owen. I misspelled Owen. My fuck. Picture. It wasn't really showing. You can't really see shit. But there's a picture of looks like it's a picture of Vince. I wish it were more zoomed in. It's hard to see. It's a picture of Vince McMahon, his wife Linda. Fun fact, move the mic closer. So Vince McMahon, his wife Linda, who, fun fact, now works for the Trump administration. She's not Department of Education, but she works for the Trump administration, which is interesting, So Vince, his wife, Linda, their daughter Stephanie, China, Triple H, Mankind, Pat Patterson, Mark Henry. So yeah, so it was a cool moment, man. It was a cool moment where they all got together and they said goodbye to Owen. So yeah.
The Rock, Kane, Undertaker, everybody they all stand on this ramp and they play his music and play like this video tribute on the Titantron. At the end, Stone Cold stands in the ring with 2 cans of beer, slams them together, and salutes to Owen. I remember that was a really cool moment where they say goodbye. So, anyways, on to the next one. Timothy Treadwell bear attack. So this was kind of short. There's not a whole lot of information on the whole situation, but Timothy Treadwell was an American environmentalist and bear enthusiast who spent 13 summers living among grizzly bears in Alaska's Katmai National Park and Preserve. He became famous for his close encounters with the bears and his controversial methods of interacting with them. Treadwell believed that he had a spiritual connection with the bears and considered them his friends. He documented his experiences through photographs, videos, and journals. In October 2003, Treadwell and his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, sorry if I missaid that, I'm pretty sure I did, were mauled to death by a grizzly bear while camping in the park. The incident sparked a debate about the dangers of interacting with wild animals and the ethics of Treadwell's actions. Some saw Treadwell as a hero who had devoted his life to protecting bears, while others criticized him for interfering with the natural behavior and putting himself and others at risk. His story was immortalized in the
Yeah, so Timothy Treadwell he lived in Katmai National Park in Alaska, I think it was Alaska, and he was living with the bears. He thought they were his friends and shit. He was like taking pictures with them, vibing out with some bears. And then it just took one day where the bears were, I think it was like wintertime, and they were hungry, and they saw Timothy, and they were like, yo, what up? And they ate him, and they ate his girlfriend. Animals aren't your friends. I think I'm about to say this actually in just a second. Animals aren't your friends. Please don't go to a park and hang out with bears and think they're your friends and they totally get you, bro. They're gonna fucking eat you. They're not your friends. I remember this one. Pretty sure he was dragged out of his tent and mauled, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. I don't know if he was dragged out of his tent. I think he was like actually hanging out with them, him and his girlfriend. I think him and Amy were hanging out with the bear, and the bear was like, nah, fuck that, you gotta die. And he ate him. But there is, this is lost media because there is a video of the attacks, but the lens cap was on the camera. So we don't have any video, we just have audio of Timothy and his girlfriend being eaten alive by a bear. And it's like behind closed doors, unavailable to the public. It's not anywhere online. I don't want to fucking see it. Anyways, let's have an overstanding. I don't want to fucking see that in the first place. But it's locked away and nobody will ever see it. So that's how this is. Oh, my voice cracked. That's how this is lost media, because the actual video of him being mauled by the bear is hidden away. Thank fuck. No one needs to fucking see that or hear it or whatever. No one needs to. Grand Theft Master says either way, man was mauled. Yeah, bro was mauled. Wildlife could easily see you as food if they're hungry enough. Just because you ain't the top of the menu don't mean they won't do it. That is right. Yes, they are not your friends. This is a hot take. A hot take from your friendly neighborhood janitor. Bears are not your goddamn friends. Bears are bears, and they will eat you. So, don't be friends with bears. Animals are not your friends. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay. Yeah, for real. Please don't hang out with a bear or like a tiger and think, this is my buddy. It's going to eat you. It's just a matter of time until it's hungry and it's like the winter and it can't find food or something. And your food is going to fucking eat you. And then you lose. Because then you got eaten by an animal. And the world knows you as that person that got eaten by a fucking animal. Eaten by an animal. So, don't be that person, please.
The 2005 documentary film Grizzly Man by Werner Herzog. So, this is lost media, but in doing research for this, I found some YouTube videos that said it was the audio of this attack.
It was bullshit, though.
The attack. So Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend, they stayed in this park and hung out with grizzly bears. It was a really dangerous thing. I'm not really sure why you would want to hang out with grizzly bears. It's kind of strange, but okay. That's your kink. I mean, whatever. So from what I know of the incident, they were, like I said, they were staying in the park. And
I remember I didn't want to put that joke in. I wanted to cut that joke out because I was like, this is a pretty serious thing. Making a joke felt wrong, but I kept it in. So,
when they were mauled, the camera had the lens cap on, so there's no actual video of the incident, but there is audio, is what I've heard. I'm guessing he had the camera in his hand when the bear attacked him and he dropped it. But like I said, the lens cap was still on the camera, but the audio still works and is horrifying. So what I saw were all clickbait videos.
It was
but
bullshit,
there may actually be videos on the internet of
It was all bullshit.
that audio in Timothy's final moments. But most of what I've seen has been bullshit. That's about all I have to say about that.
And that's all I have
That's
to say
all I
about
got to
that.
say about that.
Don't play with grizzly bears. They're not your friends. Like, it's weird that I have to say that to adults, but like, not to shit on this guy, but I mean, it's a grizzly bear. I don't know what you expected. Like, it's not gonna like big bro you and be like,
What's up, man?
doing?" Like, it's probably gonna kill you. But grizzly bears, what they generally tend to do is not be very nice. This awkward pause is brought to you by a joke I made that wasn't very funny, so I deleted it because, like Sneeko, I'm a fool.
Yeah. So I made a joke about New Yorkers. This is the kind of stuff that I really wanted to cover with this video. So I made a joke about New Yorkers and how New Yorkers aren't funny or how they're not friendly or something. And I thought, well, I don't want to like piss anybody off from New York, so let me cut this joke out. But at the time, because this was like the first video that I ever really edited, I didn't know how to seize the gap. Once I cut out a substantial clip of a film, I didn't know how to, just take the shit and move it down, right? So I had a big open spot where the joke was, and I didn't know what to do with it. And this happened in either this video, I think it was another one. There was another part where this happened. And I did like a Adult Swim thing. I was playing Dancing on My Grave, which is like a copyright, my voice got like a copyright free song. And I had white text on a black screen. It was like Adult Swim. But yeah, so I made the joke and I didn't know how to cut it out and then seize that space. So I put this weird public service announcement type of thing into the video because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I'd started watching Sneeko, who's the guy that's on screen. I started watching Sneeko, and this is around the time that he admitted that he liked to be cucked. And so I really wanted to work that into my content in some way, shape, or form. I wanted to work into my content the fact that Sneeko admitted that he likes to be cucked. And so this is how I did that. Because I was going to make a whole video on him. I was going to make a whole video on Sneeko. But I never quite did it. I never quite finished the video. And this was me referencing the fact that I knew who Sneeko was. This is like right when I got into lolcows. Because Sneeko is, in a lot of ways, a lolcow. Grand Theft Master says, yeah, a lot of people clickbait this stuff for easy money. That is true. That's very, very true. It's one thing to discuss in topic, but it's another thing to just use someone's death for easy money. Yeah. I don't know what you're referring to. But yeah, people do clickbait the shit out of these videos. And that's how people tend to make money off of YouTube, is by clickbait, because people are stupid. And yeah, that's an unfortunate part about YouTube now. You really have to clickbait if you want to be a big channel, if you want to get views. You have to clickbait your videos, because that's what makes people click on. It's not really about the content. It's not really about your personality anymore. It's more about how can I clickbait people into watching my bullshit content. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
But I'm not a cuck. So
I remember finding that Sneeko, that corner is perfect for you. I remember finding that meme. I didn't make this. I found that on Google. I remember finding this meme, and I was like, this is fucking perfect. Sneeko, that corner is perfect for you. Oh, man. That's so good. That's so fucking good. Holy shit.
There's that. Also, for whatever reason, I sound like Jeremy
It's
from
not Jeremy from
Cinema
Cinema
Sins.
Sins.
So, here's a sin for
Get
that.
us in for that.
We'll move on to the next one. Ricardo Lopez stalker tapes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this one you may
Yeah.
not have heard of. It was the mid-90s. And it pertains to a Icelandic singer named Bjork, who I knew of, but I knew the name, but I don't know anything about her. Anyways,
Yeah, I don't know shit about it,
Ricardo
yeah.
Lopez was a Uruguayan-American man who gained notoriety for his intense obsession with the musician Bjork. Lopez spent several years creating a detailed video diary of its plans to assassinate the singer through 11 two-hour tapes, which included mailing a package containing a pipe bomb. The tipping point was when Bjork announced she began dating actor Goldie in early 1996. The stalker soon decided that no one could date the star, declaring in his manifesto,
I'm just gonna have to kill her. I'm gonna send a pack.
Yeah, I remember this too. I remember recording this, and I was so embarrassed. I hated the way this sounded. I took my voice and I dropped it down a couple of octaves, thinking maybe that would make it not sound so stupid. Because this was one of the first times that I ever did any kind of voice acting. So, excuse me, I got a burp. Sorry. I hope y'all didn't hear that. This was one of the first times that I ever did any kind of like voice acting stuff. So I recorded this. I'm gonna kill her. What did I say?
declaring in his manifesto,
I'm just gonna
I'm just gonna have to kill her. I'm gonna send her a package. I'm gonna send her to hell.
have to kill her. I'm gonna send a package. I'm gonna be sending her to hell.
Yeah, I remember recording that just straight up with my voice, and I was like, this sounds awful. Like, bro, my voice sounds fucking terrible. And so that's why I dropped it down a couple octaves. And it still sounded so fucking cringe. I hated it. Grand Theft Master says, just using someone's death as clickbait for quick cash when the actual video has nothing to do with it. People are doing that right now with Charlie Kirk. It's disturbing to do that with a death anyways. It is. It is. It's really disgusting. It's really disgusting behavior. People are doing that a lot right now with Charlie Kirk. People are using his face in the thumbnails, or they're mentioning his name in their titles to get views. When the video may gloss over, Charlie Kirk or whatever for a minute, like the video is a 30-minute runtime, and 5 minutes of the video is about Charlie Kirk. The rest is about, yesterday I went to the grocery store and got some apples. Oh yeah, I love apples. But they put Charlie Kirk in their title because people will click on it because it's super trendy right now. So yeah, people will definitely do that shit. For sure. Funny, I just watched a documentary about this over the week. About Ricardo Lopez. Is that who you're referring to, Grand Theft? You watched a documentary about Ricardo Lopez? He's somebody that I didn't know about until I started doing research for this video. And I started watching the Bjork tapes where he was in his apartment and he would record these really weird fucking videos. It was Ricardo Lopez. He would record these really weird fucking videos of him, just being a fucking lunatic. I remember watching them. And I knew how it ended, right? We knew that it was going to end in a bad way. It wasn't going to end in a fun way. And I remember watching the video because it is online. Now, let me be the first person to say, do not go watch this shit. I think I say this in this video too. I'm sure I do. Don't go fucking watch this shit, right? Don't go fucking watch somebody put a goddamn gun in their motherfucking mouth and pull the trigger. Don't watch that shit. But I remember I went down the rabbit hole of Ricardo Lopez and the Bjork tapes and all that stuff because it was the 90s. I was alive for it, but I was shitting in diapers when this happened. But I remember like going down the rabbit hole when I made this video, and I ended up with the video, the last one that he sent, where he has the picture behind him that says "The Last of Me," and he painted his face up. I hit my microphone. He painted his face up and stuff, and he puts the gun in his mouth and he pulls the trigger. I unfortunately watched that because I didn't know what was going to happen, right? And yeah, it's gross. It's fucking gross. Watching shit like that is something you never forget. So yeah, please don't watch this stuff. Like I said, I'm sure I'll say this in just a minute in this video, but please, in case even if I do say it, please don't watch this stuff. Don't look this stuff up. Don't be like me. Don't be like goddamn Plagued Moth and watch this disgusting Funky Town shit. Like, please don't do that. It's awful. And you'll never goddamn get that fucking image out of your head. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyways.
Building the bomb inside a hollowed-out book set to spray sulfuric acid in her face and kill her, on September 12, 1996, he sent the letter to Bjork's London address. After sending the package, Lopez said his goodbyes. In the farewell video, Lopez proceeded to paint his face and head red and green, inscribed racial slurs on the walls and what was possibly another attempt at showing his hatred for Goldie, and played Bjork's I Remember You in the background. From there, Lopez loaded his .38 caliber pistol.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so Goldie's partner, Bjork's partner was named Goldie. I should have explained this in the video. I don't know why I didn't. Bjork's partner was named Goldie. He's African American. So Ricardo, who is Hispanic, so like you're a minority too. So like, how about you not be racist towards other minorities when you're a minority? Like, seems weird. But yeah, he scribbled like racist bullshit on the wall before he did ultimately what he did. Cause yeah, it was a shot at the guy named Goldie, who was Bjork's boyfriend at the time. So I failed to mention that in the video, but yeah, if you're wondering who the fuck is Goldie, that's who he is. Or who, yeah.
So calmly stated, "This is for you," and took his own life, convinced that he would meet his idol in heaven. The lost media aspect of this. It is lost media in the sense that the actual moment he pulls the trigger isn't available online, but everything leading up to that is. All the soccer tapes that he recorded are available online, everything up until he pulls the trigger. So, which you don't want to see that. Gore fan or not Gore fan, don't look that shit up, please. If you look that shit up, go to therapy. It's not good for you. But everything up until the actual moment he pulls the trigger is available online. So the moment itself is lost media. So update, while I was editing, I recalled a few years ago where I did find the videos of Ricardo Lopez, the ones that all the tapes he recorded. I remember watching through the tapes during quarantine, and during watching them, I did find the moment where he does take his own life. So I'm assuming it's still available online. View at your own discretion. Please don't watch these things. It's not a positive thing for your mental health to watch people hurt themselves, but it is available online. If you do choose to watch it, just keep in mind, viewer discretion advised.
Yeah, for real. I can't say that enough. Doing microphone, are you gonna be cool? You're gonna sit right there? This fucking microphone keeps falling. So, in doing research for all these videos, for this lost media video, for the strange disappearance video, just being a weirdo on the internet, I've watched a lot of shit that I wish I would have never watched. I've watched a lot of shit that I wish I hadn't have fucking watched, right? So I can't stress it enough, man. Don't go looking for this shit. Don't go watching this shit, man. It's fucked. It is fucked. Please don't watch it. You know, there is, like I said, the video does exist of Ricardo Lopez doing what he did, Minecrafting himself, as we like to say as YouTubers. Please don't go watch this stuff. It's not worth watching. Grand Theft says, I don't understand why some people be acting like Uncle Ruckus. Like, bro, you're a minority too. Yeah, I don't know who Uncle Ruckus is, but big ups to him, I guess. No, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. But no, yeah. It's like I had a friend back in the day who was super, and I'm gonna get political, so y'all be ready for it. I had a friend who was, I think he was of like Middle Eastern descent, right? His family is from like somewhere in the Middle East. And when Trump got elected in 2016, he was super like, yeah, get the immigrants out of this fucking country. Yeah, if you're an immigrant, get the fuck out. And it was like, bro, I don't want to be the person to remind you, but somebody needs to remind you, you're an immigrant. You are an immigrant. Your family are immigrants. So let's not let's not like root for, getting rid of immigrants when that's you and that's your family. Anyways, people are fucking stupid. Yeah, he was super like, yeah, deport the Mexicans, deport all the foreign people. It's like, bro, you're foreign. What do you mean? You're foreign as hell. God damn. People are so fucking stupid. Jesus Christ.
Horrible things happen. Anyways, back to the task at hand. Steve Irwin's death video.
I do feel the need real quick to say, back to the task at hand is a phrase that I got from Stone Cold Steve Austin. He used to do a podcast called, I think it's Strictly Steve Austin or something like that. I used to watch his podcast religiously. I love Stone Cold. And so he used to say, focus on the task at hand. Back to the task at hand. He would always say that. And that's where I got the word gimmick from. So if you hear me say the word gimmick all the time, blame Stone Cold. Because gimmick is a wrestling term. And Stone Cold loves the word gimmick. So blame Stone Cold Steve Austin on the fact that my Cajun millennial ass says gimmick all the time. That is the fault of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Big up Stone Cold. My hero.
This one I'm sure you've heard of. It was a huge thing in the mid-2000s, I believe, when it happened. Everyone knows who Steve Irwin is.
Oh, yeah.
Irwin was an Australian wildlife expert, conservationist, and television.
And I love how I say, everyone knows who Steve Irwin is, right? And then I fucking proceed to tell you who Steve Irwin is. I love that I do that. I love that I say, everyone knows who Steve Irwin is. And then I proceed to tell you.
This thing in the mid-2000s, I believe, when it happened. Everyone knows who Steve Irwin is. Steve Irwin was an Australian.
And then I give you a synopsis. Then I give you a synopsis of who Steve Irwin was. It's like when I did that Cameron Robbins video, I had a whole script that I'd written out. So the Cameron Robbins video was supposed to be scripted, tightly scripted. And I hit record to do a screen test, to do to test my microphone, to test my camera, to test my framing. And I ended up just doing the whole fucking video off the rip, like off the top, just right there. And I tell you, yeah. So I was supposed to read from a script to do this video, but I didn't read from the script. I just ad-libbed the whole video, and then I'll read from the script. Like, why did I do that? Like, why did I tell you I was supposed to read from the script, and then I didn't? I just ad-libbed the whole thing, and then I'll read the script to you, like you halfway through the video, like you fucking care. I don't know why I did that. It's so fucking stupid. I don't know why I did that.
Wildlife expert, conservationist, and television personality who gained worldwide fame as the crocodile hunter. He was born on February 22nd, 1962 in Essendon, Victoria, Australia. From an early age, Irwin developed a love for animals, especially reptiles, and spent his free time catching and handling them. He later became a zookeeper at the Queensland Reptile and Fauna Park, where he gained expertise in handling dangerous animals. Irwin landed his first television series, The Crocodile Hunter, in 1992. The show was a huge success and brought him international acclaim. Irwin was known for his infectious enthusiasm and daring approach to wildlife conservation. He and his wife Terry ran the Australian Zoo, which was established by his parents in 1970. On September 4th, 2006, Irwin was filming a documentary series called Ocean's Deadliest in the Great Barrier Reef, Australia. While taping the episode, he was stung in the heart by a stingray barb while snorkeling, which caused him to lose consciousness and resulted in his death. The news of his death shocked fans all over the world, and he was widely mourned. Irwin was known for his love of wildlife and his efforts to preserve it. He left behind his wife Terry and his 2 children, Bindi and Robert, who continue his legacy through their work in wildlife conservation. Many fakes exist here on YouTube, but the actual death video remains locked away with his family and is considered lost media. The Basement Tapes. The Basement Tapes are a series of video and audio recordings made by Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the perpetrators of the Columbine High School massacre. The tapes were made in the basement of Harris's home in the weeks leading up to the shooting. The content of the tapes is
Yeah, I remember. So when I went to do research for this entry, when I went to do research for the Columbine entry of this video, I was so worried that like my search history was like Columbine, the basement tapes, videos of Dylan Klebold. You know, I was so worried that my search history was like really suspect ass shit, and I thought that the government was going to come after me. I was like, somebody's gonna like look up my search history and think that I'm a fucking nutcase or something. I don't know why, but I remember being like nervous about searching this stuff to try to find these videos. But they're all on YouTube. I didn't post anything that was super crazy or anything. Like I didn't post anything that was like, you know, violence or anything. But yeah, I remember being nervous about having to like Google search Columbine, basement tapes, Dylan Klebold, Eric Harris was his name. Yeah.
Controversial and has been the subject of much debate. Some people argue that the tapes provide insight into the mindset of the killers and offer clues as to their motivations for the shooting. Others argue that the tapes should not be released or studied as they could potentially inspire copycat crimes. The full content of the tapes has not been released to the public, although portions of them were leaked online in 2006. The tapes reportedly contain footage of Harris.
That's what I'm saying. That motherfucking part. The FBI is watching me like, oh, he's searching Columbine. He's searching the basement tapes. He's searching Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. It's like they have a big button on their, like a big red button on their desk. Prison. They have like a big red button on their desk that has the word prison written over it, and they're like, oh, he's searching Columbine. He's searching the basement tapes. Oh, he searched Dylan Klebold's name, and he just slams the button. Listen.
And Klebold discussing their plans for the shooting, as well as various rants and diatribes about their frustrations with society and their desire for revenge. There's been much debate about the role of the media in the dissemination of information related to the Columbine massacre. Some argue that the media coverage of the event and the subsequent release of the basement tapes only serves to glamorize the killers and encourage further violence. Others argue that understanding the motives behind the shooting is crucial to preventing future tragedies. In 2007, a memorial was erected behind the school to commemorate the tragedy that befell that small town on April 20th, 1999. So that's all I have for this week. Remember, we do have a Discord community. The links will be in the description if you'd like to join. We're also active on TikTok. I'll have the link to the channel in the description if you'd like to join that as well. Other than that, I think that's all I have for you. So I'll see you next time. Be good to be good at it. Peace out.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Peace out. That I think that's
The camera like pushes out.
that's all I have for you. So I'll see you next time. Be good to be good at it.
Yeah, right here. The camera like pushes out. I don't know why I use that effect. That looks stupid. And you can tell there's a lot of cutting right here because I was like fucking up my line.
To join, we're also active on TikTok. I'll have the link to the channel in the description if you'd like to join that as well. Other than that, I think that's all I have for you. So I'll see you next time. Be good to be good at it. Peace out.
Yeah. Also, so I did post on TikTok for a while. Oh wow, that video ended very abruptly. So yeah, I was posting on TikTok for a while, and I haven't posted in a while. I just kind of lost interest. I just kind of lost interest in TikTok. I fucking hate TikTok. I fucking hate TikTok. I hate the community with with TikTok. It's such brain rot, just like such super like just it's just TikTok is the worst. Microphone, will you please stop doing that? TikTok is the fucking worst. So I just don't really want to contribute to such an awful platform. Um. All right. Let's see. What is next? What is next? Oh, this is 30 minutes. All right. So mute the goddamn videos. Stupid. Stop. Piss off, asshole. So we'll watch this one and then we'll probably wrap it up. 'Cause it is 1:30 in the morning. Holy shit, it's 1:30 in the morning. It's not bad for a first time or two. My first editing job wasn't too palatable as well. Yeah, that was the first time that I'd ever really had any experience editing anything. So I was super nervous about posting it because I knew that it looked like shit because I couldn't do anything more than just take the dead air and cut it out. And then I was going to say put music underneath it, but I couldn't even fucking do that. So yeah, I was super nervous about posting that video because I wasn't proud of it. But there wasn't much that I could do in the way of like making it better, you know, because like I was so new to editing, and I was editing at that time with DaVinci Resolve, which DaVinci Resolve is good for film editing. DaVinci Resolve is good for editing a movie or something like that. But if you need to put like if you need like fast paced editing and you need to put like silly memes and stuff in your videos and sound effects, like what I do for Detractor Media. I don't really do that for An Illiterate Janitor. But for Detractor Media, I put like silly memes and shit, and the editing is pretty fast paced. You need editing software that's not as complicated. You need something that's pretty straightforward, so that you can cut all, you can cut it up, you can cut out the dead air, and anyways. So before you do go later, you probably could see what I mean. It should be Far Cry 5 with Zach. I could also give you an example of my editing if you ever need me for editing. Not trying to self-promote, just trying to give you an idea. Oh no, you're good. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Yeah, as far as you self-promoting, I don't give a fuck. Before you go later, you should probably see what I mean. You probably could see what I mean. It should be Far Cry 5, so that's on your channel. Is that what you're talking about? It's something that you edited on Grand Theft on your Grand Theft channel, right? Hey, let's watch this. If my voice, if my voice cracks one more fucking time, I've been talking nonstop for like 7 hours, so my voice is cracking constantly. But yeah, as far as trying not to self promote, I don't give a fuck, man. Who cares? I think you're probably the only person that's watching this. I'm pretty fucking sure you're the only person here, so it's all good. We're here for fun, man. Who cares? Now, if I blow up and become the next like Ninja, or who's a big streamer, Tim the Tat Man, or whatever the fuck his name is, then yeah, you better not promote there. I still won't give a fuck. Who fucking cares? YouTube is bogus. Twitch is fucking bogus. It's just fucking whack.
So this week's format's going to be a little bit.
Why did I? So there's supposed to be audio right there when I show my face right here. There's supposed to be audio. Also, you can tell where the boundaries are. Like you can tell that this is one still image that I just put into DaVinci Resolve because I didn't know how to blend it into the background. But yeah, there's supposed to be the audio here where he says he's an illiterate janitor whose mother tried to abort him. That audio is supposed to be right here. I guess I didn't fucking add it.
So this week's format's going to be a little bit different. I think this is how it's going to be more often, with a webcam and me actually speaking to you. This week we're talking about 10 of the strangest disappearances available on the internet. So these are all cases you can Google. I'll have the links in the notes below if you'd like to check out articles about them. Yeah. So here we go.
Yeah.
Maura Murray.
It's Maura.
This case has gotten a lot of media attention through the social media age. It was considered the first missing persons case of the social media age. So it's gotten a lot of coverage and top 10 videos and a lot of big YouTubers who do stuff like this. But it's still...
Yeah. So it's supposed to be the face and then that audio from Always Sunny. Because so the whole gimmick of an illiterate janitor is I got my name from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, right? So Charlie, if you watch Always Sunny, Charlie is an illiterate janitor whose mother tried to abort him. So that's where I got the whole gimmick of my channel from when I changed from my full name to an illiterate janitor. So that intro is supposed to be my face with the audio from Always Sunny where Max says he's an illiterate janitor whose mother tried to abort him. And for some reason I didn't layer the audio underneath the video. So it's just a brief shot of my weird face like juxtaposed to a black screen. I don't know why I did that.
One of the most interesting to me personally, so I figured I'd put it in the list. Maura Murray was a nursing student at UMass Amherst who on February 9th, 2004 vanished without a trace on a snowy road a few towns away. Murray told a supervisor that she'd be out of town for a week due to a death in the family, although the family denied any knowledge of a death in the months after her disappearance. At 2:05 p.m., she called a number to look into booking a hotel in Stowe, Vermont, and at 2:18, she called her boyfriend saying they would talk later in her voicemail and hung up after 1 minute. At 3:40 p.m., she withdrew $280 from an ATM alone and purchased around $40 worth of alcohol, as well as an accident report form from the local DMV. Murray then left Amherst between 4 and 5 p.m. and called to check her voicemail at 4:37 p.m., which was the last recorded use of her cell phone. Sometime around 7 o'clock p.m., she crashed her car into a snowbank along Route 112. A local resident reported the accident to the police at 7:27 p.m. A school bus driver passed the accident shortly after, offering her help, but Maura declined and begged them not to call the cops, claiming she had already called AAA. At 7:46, Haverhill police arrived on the scene, but Murray had disappeared and the car was locked. Alcohol stains were found to be both inside and outside of the car and a damaged box of wine in the back seat, but Murray had vanished without a trace. Her case was deemed the first crime mystery of the social media age, and Facebook was only 5 days old when she vanished into thin air. Law enforcement are no closer to solving her case to this day. Andrew Gosden. On 14th of September 2007, a 14-year-old Andrew Gosden left his house in Doncaster, South Yorkshire, withdrew €200 from his bank account and was never seen again. At 8:30 a.m., Gosden departed from his home and was seen heading down Littlemore Lane towards Westfield Park on a neighbor's CCTV. He then walked to Doncaster Road.
Hold on. So let's back up.
seat, but Murray had vanished without a trace.
Yeah, so something else that I forgot to mention is that there was a guy named 112 Dirtbag. I think I actually ended up posting this on my channel a couple of weeks ago. So Maura Murray disappeared, and there was she vanished on Route 112 in Vermont. And so in 2012 there was a channel that randomly popped up on YouTube that was named 112 Dirtbag. And it's tied to Maura Murray because Maura's father believed that she had been kidnapped by somebody on Route 112, which is where she vanished from, and he called the guy a dirtbag. And so, this case is one of the weirdest cases that I think I've ever seen. This is one of the weirdest cases I've ever heard of. She vanished without a trace, and I don't really get it. I don't really get how they never found anything, right? So she took some money out of her account, her bank account, and then she ceased to exist. She crashed her car on a snowy embankment in Vermont, and she ceased to exist. And they never found a trace of her. And this is 2004. So I just don't understand how you vanished without a trace. Like that is honestly one of the scariest fucking things to me. That is honestly one of the scariest goddamn things to me in the fucking world. Is someone who vanishes without a trace. Especially now, like this is 2004, so we had phones, but they were like flip phones. But especially like nowadays, for somebody to vanish without a trace in the modern age with smartphones that have GPS and shit, it's the same thing with like Brian Schaefer. So Brian Schaefer vanished without a trace in 2006. And it was like right before GPS like tracking became a thing on smartphones. And so how the fuck do you vanish without a trace? It's just it's so goddamn, that's so scary to me. It's so scary to cease to exist in a moment's notice. Brian Schaefer is a great example of somebody who ceased to exist in a moment. In like 5 minutes flat, he vanished from a crowded bar in a college town, and no one ever heard from him again. There was no movement in his bank accounts, on his phone, his fiance or his girlfriend, his parents, nobody. They died without knowing who the fuck he was or what the fuck happened to him. That is inherently just so scary. Grand Theft says car accident to twist magic trick. Scary AF. Car accident to twist magic trick. What? I mean, so she crashed her car on an embankment, and then a trucker drove by and asked her, "Hey, do you need me to call somebody? Do you need me to call the cops?" And Maura said, "No, I'm fine. I don't need you to call anybody. I've called AAA. I'm fine. They'll be on the way to come tow me." Turns out she never called AAA. And then within 30 minutes, she had vanished. She was gone. Her car was there. The doors were unlocked. There was, I think there was like wine stains on the floor where she had went to a liquor store and bought a bunch of wine. And she ceased to exist. She ceased to exist. That is just inherently so scary to me. Anyways, sorry.
The case was deemed the first crime mystery of the social media age, and Facebook was only 5 days old when she vanished into thin air. Law enforcement are no closer to solving her case to this day. Andrew Gosden. On 14th of September 2007, a 14-year-old Andrew Gosden left his house in Doncaster, South Yorkshire, withdrew €200 from his bank account and was never seen again. At 8:30 a.m., Gosden departed from his home and was seen heading down Littlemore Lane towards Westfield Park on a neighbor's CCTV. He then walked to Doncaster railway station and purchased a one-way ticket to London, which cost £31.40. The ticket seller later recalled that she had told Gosden a return ticket cost just 50p more, but he insisted on purchasing a single ticket. At 9:35 a.m., Gosden was seen boarding the train to King's Cross Station alone. A woman reported sitting next to Gosden, whom she described as being quiet and engrossed in playing with his video game. When he missed his morning classes, the school attempted to contact Gosden's parents, but left a voicemail on a wrong number instead. That's crazy to me. So your kid's missing, you try to contact the school, but instead of contacting the appropriate people, you leave a voicemail on the wrong number. How do you fuck that up? Honestly, all you have to do is Google the number, and then boom, there it is. That part was always really weird to me. Gosden arrived at King's Cross Station at 11:20 a.m. He was captured on CCTV, leaving the main entrance to the station at 11:25 a.m. This was the last confirmed sighting of him. Investigators tracked his PSP and Xbox, as well as any PCs he may have used at his school, but no activity was found, and the case remains cold to this day. Virginia Dare. So this one's actually a little bit older. By a little bit, I mean the 1500s. So this has to do with the Lost Colony of Roanoke. If you don't know much about the Lost Colony of Roanoke, I'll add notes in the description that you can go check out for yourself. Virginia Dare was the first English child born in the colony of Roanoke in what's now modern-day North Carolina. In 1586, after enduring winter hardships, lack of food, and disagreements with the Indians, survivors of Roanoke returned to England with Sir Francis Drake. Then Sir Walter Raleigh decided to send a second group of colonists. A month later, on August 27th, John White, who was an English colonial governor, explorer, artist, and cartographer, set sail to England for supplies but was caught in combat with the Spanish and could not return to Roanoke for 3 years. When he reached Roanoke Island on August 18th, 1590, the colony was empty, with all 120 settlers gone without a trace. So I didn't do a very good job of explaining who John White was. John White was the governor who made the trip with them. He was kind of the leader of the expedition. So supplies were scarce, and White decided to return to the UK to get more supplies and stuff and come back to Roanoke to help them survive. I had a whole thing that I said, but I'm just going to cut it all out because it was stupid. So anyways, on to the next one. The Mary Celeste. Again, this one's pretty old. This is the late 1800s. If you've never heard the story of the Mary Celeste, again, I'll have some notes in the description that you can read about. This story is really, really interesting. So here we go. The Mary Celeste was an American merchant brigantine built on Spencer's Island in Nova Scotia and launched as Amazon in 1861. She was transferred to American ownership and registration in 1868 when she was acquired her new name. She was transferred to American ownership and registration in 1868 when she acquired her new name. Thereafter, she sailed uneventfully until her voyage in 1872. She was found deserted in the Atlantic Ocean off the Azores Island on December 4th, 1872 by the Canadian brigantine Belgradia in fair condition on the open ocean, under partial sail and missing a lifeboat. The final entry in her log was dated 10 days earlier. She had left New York City for Genoa on 7th November and was still full of her provisions when she was found, with a full cargo of alcohol and the captain's quarters undisturbed, but those on board were never seen or heard from again. At the salvage hearings in Gibraltar following her recovery, the court's officers considered various possibilities of foul play, including mutiny by Mary Celeste's crew, piracy.
Yeah, so fun fact, this was a filler. I ran out of topics to cover, so this was completely a filler. Twisted Magic trip because someone just up and vanished, never to be found again. That's the nightmare fuel. Yeah, she crashed her car. I have some thoughts on Andrew Gosden as well, but I just kind of let it play. I don't want to be pausing the video all the time. Yeah, she up and vanished without a trace. It just ceased to exist. That's some nightmare fuel for real. So, yeah, I don't understand how she wrecked her car on a snowy road, and then she got out of her car, and at worst, she probably ran through the woods or something. Maybe she, was drinking or whatever, and she ran through the woods. But at most, you would think she wouldn't be more than a mile away, 2 miles away from where her car wrecked. But they never found her. They never found any trace of her. That's so goddamn scary. And like I said, with Brian Schaefer, it's the same thing where it's so fucking scary because bro just ceased to exist. That was it. Gone. They never found a fucking trace of him. It's so creepy. But, yeah, the whole thought of vanishing without a trace is one of the scariest things I've probably ever heard. And yeah, with this video, with this entry, this is definitely a filler entry. I ran out of topics, so I had to find something to fill the void, so I used this.
Piracy by the Del Gladia crew or others, and conspiracy to carry out insurance or salvage fraud. Which, why would you try to commit fraud on this old shitty boat? Wouldn't you get $10 off of it? It seems a bit weird to commit fraud on some old raggedy ass boat in the middle of the ocean. By leaving it in the middle of the ocean, I'm gonna leave this boat deserted. We're all gonna get on a lifeboat and just fuck off and leave it. And we're going to get money from it? That doesn't even make sense. No convincing evidence supported these theories, but unresolved suspicions led to a relatively low salvage award. The inconclusive nature of the hearings fostered continued speculation as the nature of the mystery and the story has repeatedly been complicated by false detail and fantasy. Hypotheses that have been advanced include the effects of the crew on alcohol fumes rising from the cargo, submarine earthquakes, water spouts, attacks by a giant squid, okay, and paranormal intervention, although nothing has been determined and the incident faded into obscure history. Michaela Bally. So this story is straight up terrifying. So, if you
this story, like I just said, this story is really scary. So, I'll let earlier Justin explain why it is, but this story is really fucking scary. So she vanished without a trace in 2016 and has not been seen or heard from since. So if you have children, please be mindful of where your children are when they leave your house and they go out in the world. This girl was 16. She was 16 years old. Please be mindful when your children go out in the world and interact with other humans. I have to burp, excuse me. Oh, that was gross. Sorry. When your children leave your house and go out into the world to interact with other human beings, please be mindful of where they are and what they're doing. Because Michaela Bally is the perfect textbook example of someone who slipped through the cracks and managed to get finessed by somebody online, whether it be a predator, whether it have been whatever. Michaela Bally is a really goddamn scary story about a child who was tricked into meeting somebody online, and they did something. We don't know what it was, but they did something. Really fucking scary. Anyways, I'm having to fight off 2 mosquitoes in my room now while I'm watching. Well, big ups, Grand Theft. I appreciate you sticking around. Like I said, I think you're the only person that's actually watching. So, I genuinely really appreciate you. Yeah, okay.
Kids, I know they have a cell phone in this day and age. Please use a tracking device on their phones. You know where they are. Anyways, let's get into it. On the morning of April 12th, 2016, Michaela Bally's grandmother drove her to school, arriving around 8:20 a.m. CCTV footage shows her putting a binder inside her locker at 8:21 a.m. and leaving the school through the back entrance at 8:30 a.m. She was next seen by a surveillance camera walking southeast along the railroad tracks. The clerk of Terry's Pawn and Bargain, a local pawn shop, told police that between 8:40 and 8:50 a.m., Bally attempted to pawn a silver ring. However, being of low value, she did not make her an offer. Shortly thereafter, between 8:50 and 8:55 a.m., she was seen at the aforementioned TD Bank withdrawing $55 from her account. After she left, surveillance footage shows her at 9 a.m. walking east on Broadway Street. At around 9:10 a.m., cameras show her entering a combined Tim Hortons Wendy's restaurant where she buys a drink and then sits down at a table. She can be seen using her phone, seemingly taking it apart at one point and putting it back together. At 9:23 a.m., after less than 15 minutes, she leaves the restaurant, re-enters almost immediately, and goes out through another exit. Over the next 25 minutes, she was spotted by several cameras near the restaurant. At 9:49 a.m., she enters the restaurant again. This time she sits down at another table. Over the next 20 minutes, she can be seen using her phone repeatedly, sending text messages and making what appear to be lengthy phone calls. At 10:12 a.m., she sends a text message to a friend saying, "Hey, I need help," but after a couple of minutes, she texts, "Never mind, I figured it out." She is seen leaving the restaurant again, only to re-enter shortly after. At 10:43 a.m., she walks over to an elderly lady and starts a short conversation. Police were able to identify the woman, who told them that Bally had asked her for help in renting a hotel room, which she declined. And really, I don't blame her, because if some random person walked up to me in a Tim Hortons, again, I don't know what Tim Hortons is. I'm from the deep south. I have no idea what Tim Hortons is. If somebody walked up to me in a public place, some rando walked up to me and said, "Hey, will you help me rent a hotel room?" I'd probably say hell no too, because that's suspect as hell. Even if it's like a teenage girl, I definitely wouldn't. That's suspect. Hell no. After ending the conversation, Bally uses her telephone again and quickly leaves the restaurant, this time for good. After leaving Tim Hortons, cameras show her at 10:45 a.m. walking on West Broadway East. She is then seen a little later at the local STC bus stop. There she inquired where the next bus to Regina would leave. When she learned the bus would leave at 5 o'clock p.m., she left the bus station without purchasing a ticket. According to the employee, this occurred sometime between 10 o'clock a.m. and 12 o'clock p.m., but based on the available surveillance footage, this time period can be narrowed down to sometime between 11 o'clock a.m. and 11:45 a.m. At 11:35 a.m., she sent another text message to her friend saying, "I'll see you at lunch." And at 11:59 a.m., she re-enters her high school but meets only with 2 other students in the school cafeteria. They confirmed that she had told them about plans to take a bus to Regina for vacation. Cameras show her leaving the school at 12:03 p.m. The next time she was seen was at the Trail Stop restaurant where she ordered lunch. This restaurant was attached to the aforementioned bus depot. According to eyewitnesses, she left the restaurant between 1 o'clock and 1:45 p.m., but after that, no one remembers seeing her, and she does not appear on any other surveillance footage. Bally's phone was turned off at 6:51 the next morning, and she hasn't used any of her social media since that day. So this one you've probably heard of if you've been keeping up with true crime and stuff since the early 2010s.
Video broadcast. Audio. Check. Hello, check. Whoa. Check. Hello, check. Whoa. Check. Hey, check. Whoa! Can you hear me? No, okay, now you can't. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was weird as hell. All right, now I forgot what I was going to say.
If you've been keeping up with like true crime and stuff since the early 2010s.
So what? Hold on. Now, what does my output sound weird? My output is really it's really quiet. Bro, what is happening? Okay, desktop audio.
This is actually the first missing persons case.
Yeah, my audio is really shitty. Okay, so I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so please be careful where your children go. Big ups Grand Theft. I hope you can still hear me. Yeah, so microphone, can you please stop doing that? Stop being an asshole. Please just sit where I tell you to sit so I don't have to hold you. Because it defeats the purpose of me putting my microphone on a boom arm if I have to put you on a boom arm and then babysit you because you suck, because you're a stupid asshole. Anyways, so yeah, please be careful and please be mindful if you have children of what the fuck your children are doing and where the fuck they go, the people they fucking interact with. Please be careful. Because Michaela, she showed up to school. She hung out for a while. There's video, Blame It On George, big ups, Blame It On George, has a video of the CCTV camera of Michaela in a Tim Hortons, wherever she lives in Canada. I think she's in Saskatoon. And yeah, he has a video, or they have a video of Michaela in a Tim Hortons, and she's walking outside and acting really weird. Keep in mind, she's 16 years old. Keep in mind, she is 16 years old, and she's acting really weird and stuff. Please be mindful of where your children are, because it takes nothing for your kids to disappear. It takes mere moments for somebody to be in the right place at the right time, and then they take advantage of the fact that your kid is, by themselves or whatever. Please be mindful of what your children are doing. For fuck's sakes. Please be fucking mindful, because Michaela Bally is the perfect example of what happens when a child is allowed to roam the internet and do whatever the fuck she wants to do and make whatever fucking decision she wants to fucking make. Michaela Bally is the perfect example of that. And now she's gone. And we don't know what happened to her. Please be careful. Please be fucking careful. For fuck's sakes. I cannot say it enough. Please be goddamn careful.
Case that I remember watching on YouTube way back in like 2014, 2015 on Planet Dolan. So it's just a really interesting case. And like I said, this is what got me into true crime and what kind of started me watching YouTube instead of watching television and stuff. So let's get into it. Lars Mittank. On June 30th, 2014, 28-year-old Mittank traveled with 5 of his...
Yeah. I don't know why, but my audio is spazzing out, so I was just in the stream here. Yeah, because I can barely hear the audio all of a sudden.
I don't know what's happening. I can't really be asked to troubleshoot it because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, Grand Theft, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me, man. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the fact that you've always, stuck with me with my shit content. And you've always shown up to my streams and been a part of my community, man. I really fucking appreciate you, brother. I really fucking appreciate you. But yeah, so what did we learn? We learned that Justin is a professional voice actor, but he's not very good at voice acting. We also learned that don't hang out with sharks and don't hang out with bears because they're not your fucking friends. And we learned that please, goddamn, please, watch your motherfucking kids when they go out in the world and do things, because it takes and I'm so fucking serious. I'm doing this jokingly, but I'm so fucking serious. Please be mindful of what your kids are doing. Please do. Please be mindful. There's trackers that you can buy where you can keep track of your kids when they're out in the world and they're doing things. That way you know their location, to the dot, to the T, where they are. Please be mindful of what your kids are doing. The internet is a crazy goddamn place. And people are nuts, and there's lots of pedophiles. Please be careful. You gotta check out the video a little before you go. Oh shit, yeah. I'll watch it off stream. I'll watch that video off stream. You gotta check out the video a little before you go. Yeah. Link me the video, Grand Theft. Post it in the Discord, if you would please. Post the video of you, like your first like editing job or whatever. Please post that in the server, because for some reason my audio sounds really shit. I can barely hear myself. It's 2:30 in the morning. I've been streaming for like 7 hours. I give up. But yeah, and for those of you that are watching that are not in the Discord, here is the link to the Discord. There it is. So if you would like to join the Discord, there it is. All right, hanging out in the Discord a little before you go over the night. Or is this it? I think this is probably gonna be it. I'm probably gonna call it a night. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm really tired. But I'll be back on tomorrow. I might live stream again in the next couple of days. I'm trying to find some sort of consistency with live streaming, especially for Detractor Media. I'm trying to live stream with some sort of consistency because there's too much content that's too easy to do. And live streaming helps your channel. So if I do go live, it will be with Detractor Media. It will not be with an illiterate janitor. More than likely. More than likely. It won't be with an illiterate janitor. But yeah, so let me link